Alright, so today's little lesson is going to be bandsaw. I have a bandsaw. It is this. Alright, and believe it or not, I can't find anything on this. Alright, so I'm basically having to learn how to operate this thing and how to do all the adjustments myself. So I needed to change a blade. Well, I went online and they told me I needed a 105-inch blade. That's pretty steep. I think that's a lot. So what I'm going to try to do with this episode, I'm going to try to show you a little bit basics of how to tell if you get a saw and you don't have a saw blade and stuff like that. I don't have a medallion here, so my medallion is missing, but that's here nor there, unless you're doing really finite work. But I do think, safety first. Safety, use gloves, protective, always protect your ears and your eyes. Although God gave you two of each, it's a little bit better with using both. Alright, so here, I found out by shopping for blades that they are actually standard sizes. So for a 14, see, I bought this at Lowe's. So if you look here, that's your teeth per inch. Okay, I'm just going to go over the quick basics. It's 1/2 inch thick. And that's kind of important on your settings for the little tabs on right here. Okay, that's what that is, right there. And then it's the thickness. Alright, so obviously the less teeth, the more aggressive. You'll be using that basically for what I'm going to be doing in the next project. Just cross-cutting, gruff, 2x4s, whatever, something not finite. If you want to make it like make a puzzle or like a scroll saw kind of wavy thing, you go with the 13 or the 22. The higher the teeth number, the finer. Also, most of these can only do wood, and some will allow you to do non-porous metal. I believe porous. I believe I'm saying that right. If not, throw it in a comment. I'm pretty sure. What that means is you can't cut any magnetic type metal. Most of the time you can cut brass, copper, and aluminum. I kind of wouldn't recommend it, especially when you got these wheels here. These wheels the rubber on these wheels costs a lot of money, especially in the old ones. And it's good to do a tune-up on these things every once in a while. Take it apart, take your hand, with some gloves of course, unlike myself, and just, rub it. Rub these things nice and clean. Yeah, and you'll notice, you can look at it too. It kind of needs stuff. So I'm going to take all the knobs off. So the first way, the way I figured out how long my blade was, basically, I just said screw it. I freaking took the thing off, I cut it in half, and I measured it. Hey, that's good if you have a blade. But if you don't have a blade, you just take a piece of string, which unfortunately I do not have. I might. Alright, so let's just say we got a piece of string like this, alright? So unfortunately I am tethered to the to the other end of this, but I'm just going to give you the basics. You gotta just take the string, you can take a piece of tape, like a masking tape, and just tape it to up here, whoops, how about here, you can see this. So I would tape it here, right, and then I would follow this, go all the way around, bring it up through here, through the hole, come up, and bring it there, and then boom, it's measured out, alright? So that's one quick thing. Highly recommend, for me, when I'm in the garage, all my stuff's in the garage, so I can't help it. Always keep your stuff clean as much as you possibly can. Yes, a clean machine is really, truly a happy machine, because then when you go use it next, boom, you're in, you don't have to do anything about it. I bought these used. I got rid of all my new stuff, and I bought old stuff. This one only goes back into the 70s. I have a 1934 table saw back there, cast iron top and everything. So isn't this? This is a Japanese model. We get that, but believe it or not, sadly, the Japanese models are better than the other crap that they're selling now. In my opinion, that's just me. Bearings, you can still get the bearings. That's the next thing I'm going to talk about too, is when you're putting your belt on, and same thing when you're tuning your belt. Like this one has, two belts. All right. Hold on, let's see if we can. Okay, so you can see it. We have two belts. We have a belt here, up here, and then we have a belt here that goes down to the motor. This is a multi-speed bandsaw, right? So, and that's really good too, because you want a nice slow cut sometimes. For when you're doing, like me, the aggressive cuts, you can cut really, really slow. But when you're trying to do nice turns and stuff on here, you can slow it down. So let's just say I want to do a cut, and I want to, you can slow it right down, and you can just really, really nice, or make it really, really fast. So it's important. Excuse me, it's up to you. So what do you want? And that's where good wood magazines come in handy too. Always ask. I'm not an advertisement for old people, but really you should ask the old folks, because they really do know their shit. They really, really do. All right. So, like I said, I bought my brand new saw blade, because to do the project outside, I can't do it without this. So that also will be, I'm going to be doing a thing on that one too. So, I know I keep saying, always wear the gloves. So you know what? Talk is cheap, I'll put them on. So when I buy these things, usually I find that they are usually rusted really, really bad. So what I end up doing is I'll sand the tops. Alright, I'll sand the tables. To keep them clean, I usually spray them down with WD-40. Just basically spray down there, take a paper towel, and I rub it all over it. I don't care if there's residue, I don't care. I just know that when I come out, all I gotta do is clean it up with a towel again, and I got me a nice, clean table. Right? So that's what really, really counts. So next, we're going to take our blades. I got my Home Depot neoprene gloves. These things work out great. I've been using them for a while now. So obviously this is what you're going to get. Alright? Yeah. It's great. Oh, cool. So, now, there is a spot on most table saws. There's a line that usually goes here. You'll see it on the table. There's like this little nut right here. Usually you can take it out by your fingers, right? Put it on the table. Don't lose that, alright? So now, I just put this back in so I wouldn't lose it, okay? So now we're in. I know this is probably rudimentary, alright? And I understand. So I thank you very much for watching. Because if you are, that means you really kind of care about your fingers, your machine. I try to keep it clean, yes. What I'm going to try to do the one episode, I'm going to try, because this is an old machine, it doesn't have neither end, if you notice, has no place for a vacuum, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to design a little vacuum spot for this. And I'll probably shoot it out here, or maybe shoot it here, you know, have it come this way or this way, because you want to get it as close to the blade, alright? So, back to this. Now we'll take our blade. We have a blade guard. I leave everything just the way it is, because for me it's a little bit more simpler. Now, there's a practice with any saw. You want to cut down. You want this blade pointing in towards the table. All right, all points point down towards your cut. Okay, so we're going to put that in here, and there we go. It goes in, it fits right in. Perfect, look at that. Okay, so there's our blade, 93.5 inches of blade. Just went in really halfway decent. Okay, I may need to pop this out. There's a little adjustment. We'll go over this shortly, but I want to make sure that this sits in here, and it does. All right, so now this is general. But most items, most bandsaws have this. Okay, I'm going to make a little quick adjustment there. Okay, so you can see that, right? All right. There we go. So we're basically looking at that. And what you're looking there is this is the adjustment and tensioner. Okay? This part right here takes and cambers out the wheel like this. Okay? So that means the blade will either go forward or backwards on the wheel. And this right here, and let me turn this up, get this up a little higher. Sorry about that. As you can tell, I found my, there we go. So this tensions the blade. Okay, it takes this wheel and brings it up or down. Okay, so there's measurements here also that give you a clue. Usually I try not to mess with this, but how this is set up is you have a backing nut, right? I don't know if you can see it. You loosen that up, and then you turn this right or left, which would camber out this. And once I get that set up, I want to bring this up close, and I want to show you just by manually spinning what that thing does. All right? So right now, I'm just going to we're going to tighten this up. All right? Just to make it so we got something to work with. Yeah, always make sure everything's in its place before you tighten it up. Alright. See, now it's tightening up a little bit. I got a lot to go because I just basically blew out the tension. I just loosened it right up. Let me widen out the shot a little bit. Okay, so as you can tell, see it's getting a little taut right here. I'll move this back. Right, since this is, you'll notice that all my equipment is on wheels. We have a one-bay garage, so everything I own, the drill press, everything is on wheels. And if it's not on wheels, 9 chances out of 10 it's mounted to the wall. My compressor's mounted to the wall with a hose wheel. My router table's mounted on the wall. I'm going to show you later a little bit on another episode of all the little other nuances that I pulled off that are actually still working. I usually look at as inventions are great, but time tells if they last. Okay, so we have this. It's getting tighter. Okay, so good. That's a good thing. That's a good sign. So now let's see. I'm going to try to zoom in for you guys, just to show you what the blade will do. So there's the close-up of, there's the wheel. Now see where the blade is, right? The blade is on the edge right now. Okay, so we know that the wheel is going to come closer to us. Alright, now you hear that grinding noise, that's bad. That means this has to be, there's an adjustment down here. Hold on, let's see if I can. So there's an adjustment right here, this part. We loosen this tab up and we push this so this blade comes out. It's okay, there's a bearing underneath there, right here. I don't know if I can catch it. Hold on, give me a second here. Okay, so you're looking underneath here. Let's see, are you? Let's see, can put my, okay, there we go. Alright, so there's a bearing right here. Okay, so that's where your blade is pushing on. So you can adjust that out as well, because this is the guide on the top. Alright, so believe it or not, this is somewhat kind of complicated. Okay, so just to give you an idea on what happens to the travel of this blade. Alright, so we always know teeth go down, right? So you can see that. Now do you see this? See how the blade's traveling right now? This is perfect. This is a perfect thing. It's sitting almost right on the hip, but not good enough. So we go get ourselves a 1/2-inch wrench. Oh, nice breeze. So get a 1/2-inch wrench and we unloosen this area right here, right behind this nut. Alright, so okay, so we loosen that up. Now, once you've done that, just remember your basic physics or basic whatever, you screw in, you're pushing the bottom out. Okay? So if I screw in, the bottom of this wheel will be pushed out. Okay? So I'm just going to do it a little bit. Okay? I just turned it in maybe about a half. Oh, say about 3/4. Okay? So now I'm going to turn it. Watch where the blade's going. Okay, notice how the blade went all the way back. Okay? So I'm going to go back out again. I don't know if you can see this cambering. Right? So now I'm going to do this again. This is the best way to do this. Because if you just turn this friggin' thing on, this thing's going to go and you're going to be all shit. So now we're back. It's coming forward now. See that? So I'm thinking myself, this is perfect. All right? I like this setup because it should be right on the hip, right in the middle. Well, you know what? That's really not on the middle yet. I'm going to bring it back in a little bit. You can always fine tune this thing every chance you get. So we're going to turn it in a little bit, tighten it, and bingo. Look at that, right dead nut. Perfect. Okay? So once you've got your measurement for that, you tighten up your backing nut, because that's what this does. This stops this from turning. Okay? Now, tensioning should not affect this at all. Okay? But you don't want it so tight where you can play it like a banjo. Okay? This, I think, is pretty good. It's like basically doing a belt. You take your finger and you push it in, and if you can move it in like about 1/8 of an inch, that's pretty taut. And you can always change that again when you use it. So, boom, we're golden here. We got this. We now may want to change some stuff here. I'm thinking we're going to bring this bearing in down here. So let me show you where that is. Alright, we'll bring you in a little bit closer. Alright, so let's take a look at what we got here. So this right here is your bearing, so let's bring this down a little bit more and then look up. Alright, so we should be underneath there. Okay, so that looks like it might be. Okay, so here's your bearing right there. Okay, this thing right here, see how much play that has? Okay, when I'm going to cut a piece of wood, this is what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to take this and watch that. See how that goes in? You're not supposed to do that. Alright? That's what this bearing does. Because if I push this back, it's going to go back into here. It's going to go back into this piece up here. We don't want this to be pushing against that. So basically we want the blade pushing, we want the blade pushing against this bearing right there. All right, so now we take, I think it's a 1/2 inch. Could be, because this is Japanese. This could be, everything could be flipping metric or not. Okay, see? So we loosen it up with a 1/2 inch wrench. And we bring the bearing in to where we think it's comfortable. I think this is going to be perfect. Right? So now, I'll tighten that up. Now this may have to be done for each type of blade you get, because the blade distance, the blade width from front to back, it's going to be different every single time. So yeah, this is not going to be a walk in the park every time, but you're going to have some great performance if you know how to, if you do a little tuning up. Now you can do that with this, because this to me, I've already tuned this up a little bit. See, so now I can push on this piece. So we'll bring it back up again. Okay, so bring it out a little bit. Alright, so now we got that. But the other initial test, we want to just keep doing that. The bearing spins, you can see it. I don't know if you can see that, but you'll also see that the blade is spinning nice in the center of the wheel. This is how you should do it every single time, by hand. Alright, and then for me, for safety's sake, I always point the thing away from me. Alright, but for posterity's sake, and I will start it up with the camera pointing at it. Alright, so we're gonna, I fixed the vibration. There was this major vibration in this, so I fixed that too. So that worked out really nice. Okay, so we got that done. We're going to plug this baby in. Safety first, remember. I'm not going to use any earplugs right now, but I'm going to stand on the side here, and I'm just going to flick it on, just real quick. Okay, good. It didn't fall off, didn't spin, didn't do nothing. I really want to make a point by not putting too much tension on these, because you're going to be changing these bearings. There's a bearing here, a bearing there, and then there's a bearing inside here. You don't want to be really putting too much strain. See, this might be a little too loose, so I'll bring that up a little bit. See? So I still haven't gotten it, so let's try it again. There you go. Nice. Look at that. So I'm going to cut up a 2x4 to show that it works. And really, in my opinion, that is it. Then you can put the whole thing back together. This makes a whole lot of racket, so I'm going to try to find rubber pieces. This is probably, it's not a bad machine, it's just hard to find instructions for it. So I figured, since I'm having a hard time finding instructions for it, I might as well just make a little vid about it. Why not? Right? Again, I know this is dirty and all, yeah, blah blah blah. Cry me a river. But it's done. It's really not all that bad. So now that you're confident, you put all your guards back on. Try not to lose your stuff, especially on vintage machines like this. Good luck trying to find parts, man. Good luck. Plus, this also has a table. I can angle it. I got this for that reason. This is really nice. I don't do much with it. I don't do much with a table saw, but when I need one, just kind of glad I got it. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to put my ears on because I like my hearing. I also do masks, but for this, I'm just cutting a 2x4. Always, when you're doing pressure treated wood, I have some over here I'm going to be doing the next project with. Always wear a mask with pressure treated wood. Stuff's bad mojo. Not good for your lungs, and your head's going to hurt for at least 2 or 3 days. Your sinuses are going to get all screwed up. And never, try your hardest, never to handle pressure treated wood without gloves. I'm telling you, man, this stuff's not good for you. If it's not good for a garden, it's not good for you, right? Safety first. Put our little ears on and get our little junk 2x4. Right? Nice. There you go. Works perfect. Here's another tip. Do not put your finger or thumb in the line of fire. I found myself doing that, and I could have lost my digit. The other thing I forgot to mention, and you can do this without the cover, whenever you're doing stuff on your machine, safety first. You're going to have to bring in this one too. There's a wheel bearing behind here. You can unloosen this, and it'll come forward just a little bit. You can hear that noise. That's the wheel bearing. The saw blade itself is supposed to be rubbing against the wheel bearings. So that's it. That's all we got. I think we're golden. I think this will open the door for the next project. The next project I'm working on is a 14-foot bench, and it's going to be done with pressure-treated wood. I'll show you how I got there and how I altered the plans. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the little safety tip of this, and I hope you learned something. If you did, great. If you didn't, it's always a good refresher. I didn't get all the parts for it, so I don't have this. The biggest argument most people have with this is it drifts, and I have to agree. But if you make a tension enough on this blade, you should be okay. If you cut slow, use your head, just cut slow. That's it. Don't get aggravated. You get mad, you get aggravated, digits get lost. Stop when the wood turns red and just call it a day, you know? It's better to do that. So you have yourself a safe day, and enjoy power tools. They're awesome.